Before I get into the meat of this video, I highly recommend checking out Pooch Inc. on Roblox and checking out Springs on YouTube. It's a great game and Springs is honestly really cool. So if you haven't played it, go do that. And again, subscribe to Springs. Trust me, you won't regret it. Hello all, I am just Sam, and today I am here to answer one simple question. What is Redmaterium? Redmaterium? What's that? I've never even heard about Redmaterium, I hear you saying to yourself. Well, no duh, you've never heard of it. It doesn't exist. Not in the real world, at least. You see, Redmaterium is a substance that Springs introduced in their Roblox game Pooch Inc., alongside some lost tapes on the Pooch Inc. YouTube channel. Redmaterium is a liquid gas substance that is used throughout the setting of Pooch Inc., which is Pooch Park. Redmaterium can not only power the many machines in the park, but the mascots as well. But how is this possible? How can a red liquid in a tube power an entire park? Well, this is where we put our thinking caps on and pull up our big boy pants, because it's theory time. Now before we try and diagnose what Redmaterium is, we first need to understand what it can do, how it works, and its three main forms. You see, Redmaterium has three forms it can take: Redmaterium canisters, Redmaterium gas, and Redmaterium fire. Looking at the Redmaterium demonstration video on the Pooch Inc. YouTube channel, along with signs in the Pooch Inc. game itself, we can begin to wrap our head around the many things Redmaterium can do. As previously stated, Redmaterium can be used to power the machines and mascots in the park, but that's not all Redmaterium can do. Redmaterium is also a very reliable source of heat. Redmaterium is a safe form of heat in two forms: the Redmaterium canisters and the Redmaterium fire. Redmaterium fire is used to reliably heat the park while also keeping the guests safe. Redmaterium fire is not like normal fire, as it can generate heat like a normal fire, sure, but unlike regular fire, Redmaterium fire cannot burn things unless activated by an external source, which makes it incredibly safe for heating the park with very little risk attached to it. While the Redmaterium canisters and Redmaterium fires all seem fine and dandy, there is a risk to Redmaterium. Redmaterium gas is the third form of Redmaterium, and absolutely the most dangerous. Redmaterium gas is not to be inhaled, nor should it be let near skin, as it can cause health issues. Redmaterium gas is not only dangerous to the human body, but is also dangerous to the infrastructure of buildings. Redmaterium gas can cause the corrosion of nearby metal objects, along with the destruction of metal objects. It still gets worse, though. Redmaterium gas will stay in the same spot until disposed of, which can become an issue in a busy park. Luckily, Redmaterium gas can be disposed of safely as long as you wear a hazmat suit and dispose of it through a vacuum. I did forget one last thing about Redmaterium, and it's probably the most important: Mr. Red. Mr. Red is an animatronic in Pooch Park that is designed to better manage the mascots and machinery powered by Redmaterium. Mr. Red is the most intelligent AI in the world, and uses its advanced AI to send magnetic signals to other mascots and machines and tell them what to do. This Redmaterium stuff sure does sound useful, right? It can power thousands of machines, generate heat, ignoring the health risks that Redmaterium gas has, it's truly an incredible source of power. But it sounds a bit familiar, right? A dangerous substance that can power large quantities of technology, generates heat, and requires a hazmat suit to be near in some instances. It sounds an awful lot like nuclear materials, right? Think about it. Not only does nuclear material match the benefits and side effects of Redmaterium, but its mainstream use matches the timeline of Pooch Inc. Pooch Inc. takes place between the years 1979 and 1982, which is very similar to when the idea of nuclear energy was first thought of, which was a little while after World War II ended. Nuclear energy went through a lot of trial and error and didn't truly hit its finest hour until the early 1970s. Throughout the years between 1970 and 1985, over half of the world's nuclear reactors were built, which would place Pooch Inc. nice and snugly in the middle of nuclear energy's heyday. But Sam, I hear you complaining, who cares? Sure, Redmaterium was made around the same time as when nuclear energy got popular, but how else are they similar? Well, dear listener, you need to learn to be patient, because I'm about to talk about that right now. So nuclear energy and Redmaterium were made around the same time, sure, but that's not the only way they're similar, obviously. You see, while trying to understand the lore behind this game, I started to watch the Lost Tapes on the YouTube channel. And while I found many of them interesting, one stuck out in particular, which was the 1979 Redmaterium demonstration video. Throughout the tape, we learn about Redmaterium, how it works, its different forms, and about Mr. Red himself. It's where I got a lot of my information on Redmaterium, but it's also where I started to understand what this stuff really is. When the video begins talking about Redmaterium gas, the video says something incredibly quickly that you can't quite understand unless you slow the video down. When you do this, you can hear the person describing the side effects of Redmaterium gas. Fire, metal damages, metal corrosion of nearby metals, health issues, and the destruction of electronics. Between this, the fact it must be handled in a hazmat suit, and how you shouldn't inhale the gas or have exposed skin near the gas, that's when the wheels in my head began to turn. I began researching the side effects of prolonged exposure to high levels of radiation, and unsurprisingly, prolonged exposure leads to health issues, including nausea, vomiting, severe headaches, fevers, disorientation, etc. But one thing that I couldn't get out of my head while thinking about this was how Mr. Red was able to communicate with the other mascots. Sure, he was able to use magnetic signals, but the signals could only be picked up by other machines or mascots powered by Redmaterium. There's no visible antennas on the mascots, and it isn't exactly touched on in any of the lost tapes or videos or anywhere in the games, as far as I can tell. But then I remembered something. In the Redmaterium demonstration video, the video states that Mr. Red is placed in a central location of the park so that he can capture the signal of a mascot. The video goes on explaining how he then sends an electromagnetic current to any mascot, where he can then tell them what to do. The fact he needed to be in a centralized location in the park intrigued me. Sticking with the theme of nuclear energy, I began researching electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation is composed of oscillating electric and magnetic fields that are at right angles to each other and to the direct propagation of the wave. The fields are tied to the centralized point, and if that centralized point moves, so do the waves. But what's really interesting is that the electromagnetic waves travel with the exact same frequency as the oscillating charge/centralized point. What really got me excited on this theory was when I discovered radio frequency. Radio frequency is a type of electromagnetic radiation in the form of radio waves. This would explain how Mr. Red can communicate instructions to other mascots and machines without the aid of wires or antennas. The Redmaterium in both Mr. Red and other mascots have the same frequency. Thus, when a message is sent, any mascot within the electric field surrounding Mr. Red will be able to pick it up and understand him. Hey, so Future Sam here. While editing the video, I forgot to touch on gamma radiation. There's different types of electromagnetic frequencies, or different types of electromagnetic radiation, and in those, some of the more powerful frequencies are gamma radiation, which obviously comes from radioactive things, nuclear things, which better helps to explain that. So yeah, back to the video, I guess. So now that we know what Redmaterium is and, how it works, we can now start to understand the other, mysteries in Pooch Park, which I plan to have different videos for each of those, similar to how this video was specifically for Redmaterium / Mr. Red. So make sure to stay tuned for those, and again, make sure to subscribe to Springs on YouTube and check out Pooch Inc on Roblox. And I put a lot of work into crafting this theory, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, help me out a little, but that's gonna do it for this video. I'll see you all next time, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye.